Alright, this is a 1970 Oceanix TS, built in France. I don't know of any other in the United States. Seats 6 people. Has a swing keel. Cockpit seats the 6, but more comfortably 4 people. It's got a tiller in the back, little hatch. Inside. Some of these components on here obviously not original. To make a couple things to keep it up and running. In the front, have a spot for the anchor. Inside, storage in the front. Table here slides down, and supposedly you can sleep 4 in here. I wouldn't dare do it, but the beds go up underneath here. You swing around, and in here it actually makes a very nice place for your fishing rods. And in the back, this is an excellent spot for your life jackets, emergency equipment, or sails. I just tuck them down underneath. And again, this is supposedly a spot for a bed for 2 people. Maybe in its heyday it'd be a little bit nicer to sleep, but it's extremely crowded. Sailboat here, ratchet down the swing keel. Now, the hatch was missing, so I made something to get by. Front hatch here, slide in some boards, and then I use this little get up to lower my sail. Slide that back there by the tiller. I lower the mast down onto it. Walk around here. I put a ladder on the back. Makes it an excellent swim platform. But here's what I do is I slide that pipe right in here. Then I can lower the mast right down on top of it. So the cockpit inside sits above the water level. So it self-drains. So you don't have to worry about a pump or any kind of electronics. If you look down here, you can fit an outboard engine. It drops in through underneath the sailboat. A separate compartment in here, you can drop your anchor down. It's not really in good condition. It needs to be repatched up. But it doesn't leak as long as it doesn't get clogged up. If it clogs up, it can leak back into the cabin. But as long as you keep this here area clean, it can drain water right out through the hole here. So you can throw your anchor in there and pull it back out. Yep. Just pop this off, sit it in the back of the pickup. What I did here for storage, for trailing it, just took a piece of pipe and added this little section down here. Then relines. The section also needs to be replaced. At this point, the mast is about ready to lower. Nothing in the way. Here. Also making sure nobody's behind you before you do this, otherwise you have a problem. Tension on it, grab on right here. Now once you're in position, you can just lower the entire mast. Right there. And then from this point here, just loosen off the bolt. This piece was made, I don't have the original section, so I don't know if it matches what the original design had, but it was lost, so at this point I usually use some floaty cushions, so it keeps it from scratching up there. Ratchet it down here, put your lines inside, and it's ready for transport. So hoist it back up, same concept, slide it back. What I like to do is put this thing up prior to tossing it in the water, just because it's a little bit easier than dealing with it in the water. So again, biggest thing is just make sure you've got plenty of room to work when you hoist it. So make sure all your lines are out of the way. The cables, I like to make sure everything is up out of the way so it doesn't get caught up. Then I grab here, make sure that this one is ready to go. Then I put the pin up front, so when it's ready to go back up, grab on the mast. This is actually not that heavy. It looks extremely heavy, but just keep pressure on it so it doesn't tip backwards. Bring this over here, and then slide it in there, just like so. Well, that's all there is to it. I always keep the other two on if I plan to use the sailboat often. And that's one less thing I have to worry about. I just make sure the cables don't come down off the trailer when it's transported. So I usually put a ratchet around them, the cables on the mast to lock it in tight. Just tighten that up. So that's it. So I forgot to point out the sails. I made a mistake and left these in the sailboat over the winter, and a chipmunk got to it. So my main has a few holes right there. The rest of it is pretty good. It's a little dirty, but could probably be washed up. And then again, a couple of holes down here in the bottom. And this here is a storm jib. I've never actually used it, but it does have a few holes. Again, from that chipmunk, it just went through everything. Tore a hole there and there. And I believe these are all the original sails, so they're pushing. They're pretty old, but they actually hold up okay. And this here's my main jib, and all I have is that little hole. So these holes could be patched relatively easy, but just one thing I don't have time for. So that's the sailboat.